Mary Chapin Carpenter is an American singer, songwriter and musician. Carpenter spent several years singing in Washington, D.C., clubs before signing in the late 1980s with Columbia Records, who marketed her as a country singer. Carpenter's first album, 1987's Hometown Girl, did not produce any singles, although 1989's State of the Heart and 1990's Shooting Straight in the Dark each produced 4 top 20 hits on the Billboard country singles charts. Carpenter's most successful album to date remains 1992's Come On Come On, which yielded 7 charting country singles and was certified quadruple platinum in the U.S. for sales exceeding 4 million copies. She followed it with Stones in the Road and A Place in the World, which both featured hit singles. In the 2000s, Carpenter's albums departed both thematically and musically from her early work, becoming less radio-friendly and more focused on societal and political issues. Her most acclaimed and most topical album to date, The Calling, was released in March 2007. She followed that with The Age of Miracles in April 2010 and Ashes and Roses in 2012. Carpenter has won 5 Grammy Awards and is the only artist to have won 4 consecutive Grammy Award for Best Female Country Vocal Performance, which she received from 1992 to 1995. As of 2005, she has sold more than 12 million records. On October 7, 2012, Mary Chapin Carpenter was inducted into the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame. Carpenter has performed on television shows such as Late Night with David Letterman and Austin City Limits and on radio shows such as The Diane Rehm Show. She also tours frequently, returning to Washington almost every summer to perform at the popular outdoor venue Wolf Trap. Biography, Early life. Carpenter was born in Princeton, New Jersey, to Chapin Carpenter, Jr., a Life magazine executive, and Mary Bowie Robertson. Carpenter lived in Japan from 1969 to 1971 before moving to Washington, D.C. She attended Princeton Day School, a private co-educational prep school, before graduating from the Taft School in 1976. Carpenter described her childhood as pretty typical suburban, with her musical interests defined chiefly by her sister's albums of artists such as the Mamas and the Poppers, the Beatles, and Judy Collins. When Carpenter was 16, her parents divorced, an event that affected Carpenter and that she wrote about in her song House of Cards. Carpenter spent much of her time in high school playing the guitar and piano. While at Princeton Day School, her classmates threatened to cut her guitar strings if she played Leaving on a Jet Plane One More Time. Despite her interest in music, Carpenter never considered performing publicly until, shortly after graduating from Taft, her father suggested that she perform at a local open mic bar, a stressful experience for the shy Carpenter, who recalled, "I thought I was going to barf." Carpenter also hosted an open mic night at a bar in the Cleveland Park neighborhood of Washington, D.C. for a number of years. Carpenter graduated from Brown University in 1981 with a degree in American Civilization. Carpenter played some summer sets in Washington's music scene, where she met guitarist John Jennings, who would become her producer and longtime collaborator. However, she considered music a hobby and planned on getting a real job. She briefly quit performing, but after several job interviews decided to return to music. Carpenter was persuaded by Jennings to play original material instead of covers. Within a few years, she landed a manager and recorded a demo tape that led to a deal with Columbia Records. Early Records and country label. Carpenter's first album, Hometown Girl, was produced by John Jennings and was released in 1987. Though songs from Hometown Girl got play on public and college radio stations, it was not until Columbia began promoting Carpenter as a country artist that she found a wider audience. For a long time, Carpenter was ambivalent about this pigeonholing, saying she preferred the terms singer-songwriter, or /rocker. She told Rolling Stone in 1991, "I've never approached music from a categorization process, so to be a casualty of it is real disconcerting to me." Some music critics argue that Carpenter's style covers a range of influences even broader than those from country and folk. Time critic Richard Corliss described the songs in her album A Place in the World as reminiscent of early Beatles or rollicking Motown, and one reviewer of Time Sex Love noted the wash of Beach Boys-style harmonies, backwards guitar loops, and use of a sitar on one track, all elements not commonly found on a country or folk album. After 1989's State of the Heart, Carpenter released Shooting Straight in the Dark in 1990, which yielded her biggest single up to that point, the Grammy Award-winning Down at the Twist and Shout. 2 years later, Carpenter released the album that, to date, has been her biggest popular success, Come On Come On. The album went quadruple platinum, remaining on the country top 100 list for more than 97 weeks, and eventually spawned 7 charting singles. Come On was also critically acclaimed. The New York Times' Karen Shermer wrote that Carpenter had risen through the country ranks without flash or bravado, no big hair, sequined gowns, teary performances, enriched with Ms. Carpenter's subtlety. Come On grows stronger and prettier with every listen. The songs of Come On had the qualities that would come to identify her work: humorous, fast-paced country rock songs with themes of perseverance, desire, and independence, alternating with slow, introspective ballads that speak to social or relational issues. Passionate Kisses, a cover of fellow singer-songwriter Lucinda Williams's 1988 song, was the album's 3rd single. Carpenter's version peaked on the U.S. country chart at No. 4, and was the first of Carpenter's songs to cross over to mainstream pop and adult contemporary charts, charting at No. 57 on the Billboard Hot 100 and at No. 11 on Adult Contemporary. The 6th single on Come On, He Thinks He'll Keep Her, was Carpenter's biggest hit off the album, charting at No. 2 on Billboard's country chart and at No. 1 on Radio and Records' country chart. Written by Carpenter and Don Schlitz, the fast-paced song follows a 36-year-old homemaker who leaves her husband, and was inspired by a 1970s series of Geritol commercials in which a man boasts of his wife's seemingly limitless energy and her many accomplishments, then concludes by saying, "My wife. I think I'll keep her." Carpenter said, "That line has always stuck with me. It's just such a joke." The single received a Grammy nomination for Record of the Year. Continued 1990s success. In the wake of Come On's success, Carpenter wrote songs for a variety of artists, including Joan Baez, who recorded Stones in the Road for her 1992 album Play Me Backwards after hearing Carpenter sing it live. She also wrote one of the nicest Tony Rice's song for his 1992 album Native American John Wilkes Booth. Pop singer Cyndi Lauper co-wrote Sally's Pigeons with Carpenter and released it on her 1993 album Hat Full of Stars. Country singer Anona Judd recorded Carpenter's composition Girls with Guitars on her 1993 album Tell Me Why. Judd released the song as a single in 1994, in what Carpenter called the most exciting thing that's ever happened to me as a songwriter, and it peaked on the U.S. country chart at No. 10. Later, Carpenter co-wrote Where Are You Now, which Trisha Yearwood recorded on her 2000 album Real Live Woman. The song peaked on the country chart at No. 45. In the 1990s, Carpenter also duetted with Sean Colvin, a longtime recording pal, and sang backup in Radney Foster's Nobody Wins, Dolly Parton, and Joan Baez on a 1995 live recording of Diamonds and Rust. Carpenter also performed a number of concerts with Baez and the Indigo Girls as the Four Voices, during the mid to late 1990s. Carpenter followed Come On with 1994's Stones in the Road, at which point USA Today wrote, without sounding anything like a country star was previously expected to sound, Carpenter's one of the genre's biggest stars. Stones in the Road sold only around 2 million copies, but was a crossover success with non-country audiences. Also in 1994, Carpenter contributed the song Willie Short to the AIDS benefit album Red Hot Plus Country produced by the Red Hot Organization. Carpenter's sixth album, A Place in the World, was released in 1996 to raves from publications as varied as Time, People, Elle, The New York Post, and USA Today. The Boston Globe found the album more philosophical and heady than her previous work, and quoted Carpenter as saying, I've wanted to get out of songwriting as a sense of growth, I'm not shying away from any issues or subjects. I don't feel there's anything I can't address. In 1996, Carpenter's cover of the John Lennon song Grow Old With Me, from the Lennon tribute album Working Class Hero, became an adult contemporary chart hit. The song 10,000 Miles was the signature track in the 1996 family film Fly Away Home. In 1998, Carpenter was signed to write the music and lyrics for a planned Broadway musical adaptation of the 1953 Western film Shane. Producers proposed Shane to Carpenter after Dolly Parton, and then Garth Brooks, left the project. According to Carpenter, the producers singled out songs like I'm a Town and John Doe No. 24, songs that are story songs, very character-driven, as the key that made them want to see if this was something I was interested in. I was surprised by that, and intrigued. Carpenter left the project in 2000. 2000s and beyond work. In 2001, Carpenter released her first studio album in 5 years, Time Sex Love. The New York Times wrote that Carpenter was harder than ever to define stylistically, and described the album as a departure, essentially a concept album about middle age. In songs such as The Long Way Home, Carpenter espoused taking life at one's own pace, rather than indulging in rampant goal-driven materialism. Time Sex Love sold fewer copies than Carpenter's earlier work, and yielded only one charting single, Simple Life, which peaked on the U.S. country chart at No. 53. Carpenter explained that, when the record was released, I really believed there were several radio-friendly songs. It has been since proven to me that is not exactly the case. In 2004, Carpenter released Between Here and Gone, a somber album that addressed events such as the events of September 11 and the death of singer-songwriter Dave Carter. The album received some of the best reviews of Carpenter's career. Carpenter's ninth studio album, The Calling, was released in 2007 by Rounder Records' rock-pop imprint Zoe, and featured commentary about contemporary politics, including reactions to the impact of Hurricane Katrina and the agreement with the Dixie Chicks. In less than 3 months after its release, The Calling sold more than 100,000 copies in the U.S., without benefit of any substantial airplay on commercial country radio. This was followed by a Christmas album, Come Darkness, Come Light, which mixed original and traditional material, also on the Zoe label. Carpenter's 10th studio album, The Age of Miracles, was released on April 27, 2010. It debuted at No. 28, her highest peak since 1996. In late 2011, Carpenter announced via Facebook and Twitter that she was hard at work on a follow-up album to The Age of Miracles. The beginning recording sessions were recorded at AIR Studios in London, England. On February 14, 2012, Carpenter announced via her management on her official Facebook page, that her new album, Ashes and Roses, would be released on June 12, 2012. Carpenter will embark on a North American tour upon release of the album. She is touring beforehand with her old friend Sean Colvin in preparation for the solo American tour. In October 2013, Carpenter's management announced that she would release her debut orchestral recording with songs from the movie on January 14, 2014. On January 24 she performed the album songs at the Celtic Connections Festival in the Royal Concert Hall, Glasgow, Scotland with the BBC Scottish Symphony Orchestra. Personal life. Despite a series of relationships, including one with John Jennings, the media made much of Carpenter's single status throughout the 90s. In a 1994 profile, Entertainment Weekly even dubbed her a spokesinger for the 30 Something single woman. Throughout her career, she has actively supported various charities, including Care and Habitat for Humanity, and has conducted fundraising concerts for such causes as the elimination of landmines. Carpenter has struggled with periods of depression since childhood. While on tour with her album The Calling in spring 2007, Carpenter experienced severe chest and back pain. She continued to perform until a bout of breathlessness took her to the ER, where she learned she had suffered a pulmonary embolism. Canceling her summer tour to recover, Carpenter felt that she had let everyone down, and fell into a depression before rediscovering the learning curve of gratitude. Carpenter spoke about the experience on National Public Radio's This I Believe program in June 2007. Carpenter was the author of a bi-weekly column in the Washington Times from December 2008 to March 2009 in which she discussed topics related to music and politics. Awards: Academy of Country Music, 1990 Top New Female Vocalist, 1992 Top Female Vocalist, Country Music Association, 1992 Female Vocalist of the Year, 1993 Female Vocalist of the Year, Grammy Awards, 1992 Best Country Vocal Performance, Female Down at the Twist and Shout, 1993 Best Country Vocal Performance, Female I Feel Lucky, 1994 Best Country Vocal Performance, Female Passionate Kisses, 1995 Best Country Album Stones in the Road, 1995 Best Country Vocal Performance, Female Shut Up and Kiss Me, Honorary Degree. 1996 Brown University, Discography. References. External links: Mary Chapin Carpenter official website, comprehensive Mary Chapin Carpenter discography, Mary Chapin Carpenter at the Internet Movie Database.